meeting to order. This is a special meeting for purposes of approving a series of bonds for improvements to our emergency radio system and other items of maintenance for the county.
Take it away. So, my name is Anthony Ditka. I'm in from the law firm of Clean Water Control. We are acting as the county's bond counsel in connection with this issuance. So what you have is an ordinance that is one-stop shopping for the county. It includes kind of everything you need to authorize in order to issue your general obligation bonds. So even though it is 40 pages long, I'll kind of summarize it this way. It authorizes the issuance of your bonds and pledges your full faith, credit, and taxing power to the repayment of those bonds. It just means you're issuing debt and you're using your revenues to pay them back. 2, it authorizes the sale of the bonds to PNC Capital Markets. PNC is going to underwrite the bonds. The way it works is they will market your bonds and they will present you with a contract having already placed the bonds and knowing the rates, and that's what you'll accept. But they buy them and place them with that line of yours. 3, it appoints a sinking fund depository and establishes a sinking fund. Sinking fund is a requirement of state law under the Local Government Unit Debt Act. U.S. Bank is going to serve in that capacity. They are in Pennsylvania. They are one of the 2 largest actually, and they are cheapest. And they're great to work with. The sinking fund is kind of an old notion. The Debt Act was written in 1972, and at the time it was contemplated that folks like the county would put in 1/6 of interest and 1/12 of principal every month. Well, now with the advent of wires and things like that, your sinking fund only sees activity a couple days a year. You'll make semi-annual payments on your bonds. The money goes into U.S. Bank, they pay the universal holders, and that's it. And so, but no one's updated state law, so it is a requirement, and if a citizen wanted to audit your sinking fund, they have the right to, but they just wouldn't find much. 4th thing it does is it establishes parameters, outside parameters of what your bonds will look like, and I'm going to come back to that. The 5th thing it does is it authorizes your officers, all of you, to do whatever is necessary to close on the issue, which means we don't have to take any more official action to sign the closing documents. This is it. Finally, it authorizes me to do your filing with the State Department of Community and Economic Development. Any town or local government, county, school district, municipality wants to borrow money in the Commonwealth, you have to go through DCD. That is a procedural statute. So the advertisement that we ran in advance of the meeting is step 1. If you vote favorably on this, we run another ad telling the public that we voted favorably on what we summarized for them, and you send it down to the state and they review. But again, the review is procedural. Did you follow the right steps? No, it is invading your discretion as to whether or not you should do the project or how you go about it. So that's what it does. Coming back to number 4, where it talks about the parameters. So your ordinance says that you can borrow an amount not to exceed $10 million. But we all know we're not going to borrow $10 million. But you have to, when you do this, set A, a maximum number, but B, way in the back, you have a schedule from PNC, and the PNC schedule, because bonds mature annually, little bits mature annually. It's like a banknote that has 1 bullet. If we go to sell bonds and in any 1 year we exceed what's in this, even if we're under the total number, we have to start over. So what you do is you kind of take a look at what you think you're going to borrow and add 20% or so. And so that's why that's a big number. But the county is protected. The county is protected from overborrowing in the text. What we have is we're not going to issue bonds that would result in debt service payments that are more than, and I put approximately $550,000 because we talked about $547,000. But PNC knows the number. We're going to structure your bonds, and we will do as much of that list of capital projects as we can. And to that end, I'll say, just in case anyone's recording this for posterity, A, the county has reasonable cost estimates for what it has done, and B, it has a reasonable expectation of spending and the proceeds it's going to borrow within 3 years. And so we meet all of the requirements for state and federal tax law.
And so it's because it is being recorded, anyone who would like to receive a copy of the plan, they can stop and look at it. It has all the cost estimates in it and all the information from the CAC.
And this is done by Capillary Communications,
Yes.
and it is for the Public Radio System Needs Assessment Analysis Report for Warren County.
That's correct.
Understand what our communications needs are for emergency services.
I have just one question. Right now, our mill is set at 500 and some thousand.
Yes.
We're going through reassessment. That millage number could change. How does that impact the bond? Would we then issue?
You're a little outside my area there, but I believe that for county assessments, you should end up revenue neutral. So even if the millage changes, what you have levied should be the same to the county, so you don't have fluctuations.
I thought
So
that
that's-
was the first
So
year.
that's why we've structured this such that we're gonna get you to a debt service number.
Right.
And it was,
So it's a number as opposed to millage.
That's
which
correct.
makes more sense.
Correct.
Yes. We had to tie it to a millage.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did to get to the number, but that millage can change, but it will still equal the number, which is
Okay,
basic
right,
revenue.
I just didn't want to get ourselves boxed into a corner where it's a millage as opposed to a dollar value.
Good job. Yep, it's maximum. of 10.
again, for posterity, the county has gone through this is for anyone who's watching. The county has gone through this in a very deliberate, thoughtful way. We have been talking about this for several months. We amassed a comprehensive list of your needs. And we talked about the market fluctuations that have been. This has been a relatively volatile market, but it's volatile within a range. It's not crazy one way or the other, but it's kind of in here to see what the county can do to protect its citizens with the 911 system and still afford it and be reasonable for the taxpayers. So this is the result of a long process that comes.
I would just add that after the reassessment, I agree with Attorney Ditka, it's revenue neutral. So the millage of the amount of total value of assessed properties in the county changes, the millage will adjust automatically. Right.
And this, the 5.2 for the public safety radio project is phase 2 of the original. There was a 2-phase plan. This is phase 2 that will include construction of 3 towers, one in Sugar Grove, one in Elk Township, and one in Sheffield. And when the project is completed, I would say we would be set for a while. The general, on towers itself, the general lifespan is 35 to 50 years. So, and I will say we have done our due diligence into looking into lifespan of the items that are
What did you say that lifespan was?
35 to 50 years. With that being said,
Can I ask a question?
sure.
That document, Ken and I did some press stuff on that document and were asked for that. I think the emergency procedure portion of the Sunshine Law makes that not a public record.
Okay.
It gets into where the gaps are.
Sure.
And where
Right.
I want to communicate.
Right.
So I'll defer to council on that, but I'd have some concerns about sharing that publicly.
Well, my point was we have nothing here.
We can create a summary that will
Yeah.
summarize the
Yeah.
actual
You know,
thing.
maybe
Point taken.
I can give Ken the guiding language and he can prepare a redacted copy or something along those
If somebody
lines.
makes it.
Correct, yeah.
Sure. We were asked, we gave a synopsis, and we were doing the local press, we gave a synopsis.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
And I would just add that this is not something that we wanted to do, it's something that we need to do to protect our citizens and our responders.
need a motion then?
Yeah, and I think you can just use the very top of what's on this. It would be a motion authorizing the incurring of non-electoral debt by the issuance of general obligation bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $10 million.
I'll be happy to make that motion.
And I'll second
Motion, have a second, discussion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do we have any other business?
No.
If not,
Official.
take a motion, I'll accept a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
I'll second that.
discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.